Have you ever been in a political debate online talking about policy and economics, and all of a sudden it gets asserted that you're probably a crypto Nazi or a white nationalist somehow? How is this happening? What's going on here? Well, to put it simply, many people have been systemically lied to on an industrial scale. Entire political narratives are based on total nonsense right now in the West, and especially in America, because of the different types of politics Americans actually have. When we speak of the left-right spectrum, we are actually talking about two different things in America and in Europe. The European spectrum is measuring nonsense, basically. You have totalitarian communists on the left and totalitarian fascists on the right. There is no real thing they're measuring in between as far as state power. A centrist is just, could have the same amount of government as a fascist or Nazi. It's just, how is that government treating people? The real problem is that once you give a government power, it doesn't matter what narratives or what hierarchy thought they have or this. It's going to be tyranny because you've put all the power into the state. There's no individualism. There's no rights of the people at all to be discussed. The European left-right model hems in statist thought monolithically throughout the entire thing. There's no anarchy in the European spectrum to speak of whatsoever. So the concept is removed from their spectrum. While the American spectrum is explicitly just measuring on the left 100% government control, on the right 0% far right would be anarchy in the American system. These two spectrums are not measuring the same thing, yet we speak about them as if they are transferable, or we're talking about the same concepts whatsoever. We're talking past each other every time we do this. So when you're talking to a standard liberal or leftist in the West, they're going to be operating from the European left-right spectrum, not the American left-right spectrum. This is important because the left cannot debate policy nowadays. They don't have anything to offer after they've gone globalist. Once they go globalist, that means they're dovetailing with the corporations, and they're really not offering us anything. So it's very important for them to muddy the waters and accuse their opposition of being the far right of Europeans, not Americans just trying to maintain their constitution. Which, by the by, is usually not referenced as an existential threat to aristocracy globally throughout the planet. The American ethos and constitution destroys the command and control nature of aristocracy that's always been present in almost all cultures and political structures throughout all time. Even within America, there is aristocracy, but they are restrained by the Constitution and individual rights. In summary, you're going to want to define what left-right spectrum you're addressing when you're talking about the left and the right. The American system really isn't supposed to be cut up into the left and the right. That was a French Revolution trap. We went a different way, but right now our education systems and media and stuff are projecting the European left-right model on us, when really we have a system that transcends that left-right model. And Hitler, Stalin, Mao, fascist, communists, all of them are on the far left of totalitarianism, and the far right as anarchy, the Constitution being somewhere in the middle or closer to the right, I'd say. So before you get into these debates, make sure you define which spectrum you're talking about. Thanks. Bye.